Hank here with my review of the Sonicake Sonic Cube audio interface. Inside the box, of course, you get the audio interface, a USB-C to USB-A cable, and this documentation card. At the time of this recording, the Sonic Cube retails for $59.99 US. Build-wise, the Sonic Cube feels like another lightweight plastic build. However, there's really not very much documentation on the website and definitely not in the box. While tiny, the gain knobs are extremely sturdy, and it's got a really good paint job to it that adds some flair. Specs as well, very hard to come by. Even my attempts to reach out to Sonicake failed to generate a response, and they sent me this device, but they have not communicated back to me at all when I inquired about gain range and other specific questions that I'll get to later in this video. But I do know it is a 2-in, 2-out USB audio interface, and it is 24-bit, 48 kilohertz. Plus, it comes with its own driver. It's an ASIO driver that works really well with recording software. On the front of the device, mic 1 is an XLR-only input. Line/instrument 2 is a 1/4-inch input that is capable of handling high Z. Up top, you have a 48 volts phantom power button, a high Z button, 2 very tiny gain knobs, and 2 flashing LED lights, plus an output knob, a direct monitor switch, an LED that indicates when you're connected to USB, and a 1/4-inch headphone jack. On the back of the device, you have a DC 5-volt USB-C port, a power source switch, another USB-C port that goes out to your computer or laptop, and balanced left-right 1/4-inch outputs. Right now, I'm on the Fifine K669. Let's test this device, as we have with so many budget audio interfaces with the Shure SM7B. Back on the Shure SM7B, and once again, you can tell this is a budget audio interface that just doesn't bring the thunder with the gain. The gain is maxed out, and when you take the gain knob from 9 to 10, the noise floor increases exponentially. It is egregious, that maximum gain problem. So I'm going to switch away from the Shure SM7B. No, this does not drive it to an acceptable level. Back on the K669D, now it's time for the high impedance headphone test. So I'm going to throw on my KOS Pro 4 AA headphones. The headphones sound so good that I reached out to Sonicake to find out what they were using for their headphone out, and they never responded to any of my inquiries, even though they sent me this device. But the headphone out sounds really good. Can it drive high impedance headphones? Yes, it can. When it comes to my likes and dislikes, it's pretty clear. I do like the flashy style. I kind of wish I had the neat King B1 to pair it with the yellow and black color. I do think the knobs are solid, and I do love the headphone output. Sounds fantastic for a budget audio interface. I appreciate the design, how it's set up. I also like that it's 24-bit. But when we go to cons, the elephant in the room is the gain. It's just not pushing enough gain for dynamic microphones to be that comfortable. I'm really projecting into this easy to drive dynamic microphone, but if I was being more relaxed and more laid back and not as close to it, it would have a hard time getting to the desired level I'm trying to get to. I would guesstimate that it is doing about 40 dB a gain. When you turn this knob to 10, as I stated earlier, it is awful. There's so much noise in this recording if I were to go to 10. And when you just barely back it off from there, that big hiss goes away. Another con is the gain knob buttons are just comically small. One more thing that I forgot to mention that you do get that I like is the ASIO driver. If it had a better preamp, I would definitely recommend it because I like the sound I get from it as long as I don't have to dial the gain up to 10. The preamp is just a deal breaker if you're going to use dynamic microphones. If you never use dynamics and you only use condensers, I would definitely recommend this device. But if you're like me and you have a bunch of dynamic microphones, some harder to push than others, then I would not recommend this at all. It's just too hard to push it. And I'm really disappointed with the lack of documentation on it. Even when you go to the manual is essentially just another PDF version of this card. Sonicake makes really good wireless stuff. I know that from filmmaking. And so my expectations were pretty high on this device. And as soon as I plugged in the SM7B, I was disappointed once again. However, at the time of this recording, I have one more audio interface that I am going to give a whirl. If you're subscribed to my newsletter, you would already know what that is prior to the review of it coming out. So subscribe to my monthly gear newsletter where you'll find out what that device is and another secret project from Shure coming up that you're not going to want to miss. Link in the description. As always, thank you.